Welcome to today's guest interview series of the Wow. We did not plan that. Wow, Women Who Own Their Worth interview. So today we are bringing in Carol Register. And what I love about Carol is that I met her through another summit series of interviews, and she's a brilliant woman who also helps other brilliant women like you. And I'm going to read a little bit about her and then let her dive in around how neuroscience can help you get what you want. And as a reminder, the Wow Women Who Own Their Worth series is to help women get out of their own way, own their worth, so that they can manifest their dreams and really bloom in their life. So if you're the kind of woman who wants to bloom in your life, listen up. Carol is, she's an international and multi-business owner. She's a podcaster, speaker, global investor, consultant, as well as a business strategist and a SINC Certified Master Neurocoach. She combines neuroscience with the principles of wealth so that you know your true worth. Yay! And you can create the reality that you actually want to live. Carol, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I'm super excited to bring you guys wonderful tools to move forward in the work you're doing, especially with Lila. I love what she does. I think it's so amazing, and I'm just very honored.
Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you to dive in particular, will you share a little bit, number one, about what you do with your clients as it relates to using neuroscience to help them get what they want?
Yes, I will. I will be weaving this in for you guys. There are tools that you have available to you to be powerful and to really lean into your worth. And the number one, I think, question or commentary that I get from my clients is that they don't know their worth. And I didn't know my worth. It's huge out there. If you talk to almost anybody about their worth, they're going to shrink back, right? It's a common thing. So what I do with my clients is I use a very clear, proven neuroscience process. It's 4 simple steps, childlike, clear, and easy. So it's very achievable because neuroscience is huge, right?
Yeah.
And what is neuroscience even, right? Neuroscience is not just the brain and the thoughts. It's about our beliefs, and our beliefs are a combination of our thoughts plus emotions. And it's the whole entire nervous system. The brain is a part of the nervous system. So when we really look at an overview of neuroscience work that I do, it's about healing and having the tools to enable you to do that so you can live an abundant and amazing life.
Beautiful. So neuroscience is a big topic, like it's a really big topic. How would you simplify it to, say, a child, like a 5-year-old? How would you explain to a 5-year-old what neuroscience is so that we can get a better grasp before you dive into these 4 pieces for us?
So that's a really great question. Using a neuroscience-based process, what is neuroscience? Neuroscience is the study of the brain and nervous system. But one of the things that I would tell you is that we're whole beings. And I'm talking to you, you're 5, you're right here in front of me. So we can start to work on any one area of our lives to make improvements and be who we want to be and do the things we want to do. And it's going to elevate our entire lives. And that's the exciting part.
Cool. So is it around, how is it different than mindset work?
I love your questions. Keep asking them. They're amazing because with mindset work, it is mindset work. It includes mindset work, but having a clear, measurable process, just like what you do, Lila, in your work, where you can have tangible, measurable results rather than be out there going, well, I'm working on this on my mind and I'm working on that on my mind, but not really seeing any differences, or it's taking a long time and it feels confusing. I don't know if I'm doing the right things. It's great to have a process that is a proven process, like what you do with mindful movement. You know, the results are there, they're tangible, they're measurable. It's the same thing where you can just have this simple childlike process, right? And the important part of that is that you can then see, oh, I'm following step A, step B, step C, step D, and I've got, boom, a measurable result, like increasing your wealth, for example, healing your money mindset, which is a lot of the work I do with my clients. It's the health and wealth picture, right? Because it starts with health. Our health is our wealth. And knowing our worth is really the starting place for increasing and elevating in all areas of our life.
Oh, beautiful. I will tell you real quick, I go by Lila. Most people say Lila.
Sorry.
You're good.
Lila.
I go by Lila. Lila. Yeah. So,
Lila.
yeah. So, okay. So, you work with women mostly around their wealth. And this group has a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of women who are interested in creating more wealth, and particularly creating wealth in an area that they're really passionate about. They have a lot of heart in. And so before we dive in, one more question before we dive into the 4 pieces is, what do you see as the biggest struggles, the biggest blocks? I know you said there's, multiple things people might be thinking about. That makes sense. And there's confusion. But is there anything else you can share around like the wealth creation, the receiving wealth piece? And what are you seeing the biggest struggles and challenges right now, especially for women?
Well, the biggest struggles and challenges go back to our limiting beliefs, what we're believing about ourselves, right? Which ties directly into our worth. Our limiting beliefs, 90% of them came from our childhood. They were wired in, and they're even saying now by the age of 8. So one of the things that happens is that we're then operating by these. We're even making up to 97% of our daily decisions by whatever's wired in. And maybe it was something you heard repeated in your family over and over, like, we can't afford that. It's a common thing parents say, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. And also, I want to tie in the worthiness questions, right? If you're ever beating yourself up, if you're struggling with imposter syndrome, if you're feeling like you're just spinning your wheels and really not getting the results you want and not moving forward, but you don't know why, this is where the work I do gets really exciting, because you are powerful. You have what you need within you, and your brain is wired to work in this beautiful, magical, fantastic way. It's a super sophisticated system. So it's going to be trying to protect that automated system. It's going to be trying to keep you safe. And this is critical for you to understand, because when you hear the negative internal chatter as you go to do something that you want to do, your brain is working properly. Your brain is doing the job that it's actually supposed to do. So it does all this to keep that beautiful automated system safe, like breathing right now. We're not literally sitting here and thinking, breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. We're breathing, right? Just as we're here participating with each other. And that's automated. We don't have to think about it. Well, anything that we've developed as a pattern in our lives is an automated habit, we call them, or pattern. And the brain is going to try to protect that. Why? To conserve energy. So this is a lot of the science part. How does this affect you? Well, it affects you because those limiting beliefs that you've gained along the way are now automated once they've been repeated. And so it may be things like, I'm having those 3 extra cookies a day every day that are not serving me well. Now, maybe it's not 3, maybe maybe it's more than that. And, maybe I'm not feeling my best. Maybe I'm eating a lot of processed foods. Maybe I'm not looking at my money. I'm avoiding it. Maybe I consider myself to be not so smart or not really capable. It's meant for other people, right? So then we are operating by those things, and we don't realize that our brain is protecting that system, but we can wire our brains for success. So that's the exciting part.
Yay! So childhood stuff, childhood stuff, childhood stuff, right? It comes back, it imprints and wires us, and then we live a certain way. And so you're going to tell us now, right? What are the things we can do to rewire ourselves to not live in those limiting beliefs anymore?
Yes, yes. So I'll share with you at the end the steps in my 4-step process, but there are some wonderful pieces, and I really wanted to lean in today to the worthiness, since that's what you're here doing. And this is so powerful and important. And the first step is to get to know your real self. Okay, so we get scared of knowing our real selves. It's like we have these things wired in, these beliefs about who we think we are. And well, so that's where the imposter syndrome comes in. That's where beating ourselves up comes in. We've done something wrong, perfectionism, the overwhelm, the procrastination, all these things that keep us holding back, shrinking from what's in our heart to be first, and then to do out of that. So the first step is to just approach yourself, getting to know yourself with grace and compassion. We often don't define things for ourselves. I certainly didn't. And that's the situation with my clients. Like, it was all about external approval and validation. It was all about the performance. And it was about, all the people in my life saying, yay, good job, or, oh, that's not so great. I didn't have an internal awareness of who I am. And I want you to know you can approach this without fear, without judgment. Just release the judgment, go in with the grace and the compassion, get curious. Curiosity is key to releasing the judgment, and just start to ask yourself really gentle questions like, what do you like? What does success look like for you? What are your values and the things that you really care about? Start to uncover the beautiful pieces of you with simple, beautiful questions.
That's great. So what do you like? What does success look like for you? And what was the last one you mentioned?
What are your values and the things that you really care about? Yeah.
Love that. That's so beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to put these all in the video comments so people can remember.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so that's the step to start with, getting to know the real you. When you're doing the work that you're doing with investing in yourself and moving forward in your life, the brain's going to be protecting whatever is automated. And so we're used to shoving things down, moving past them. Just, the message I got when I was a little girl growing up in the Midwest was, change your attitude. What's your attitude? What I wasn't taught was, hey, your brain is helping you by automating these things. Now, that is a lot maybe for a 5-year-old to understand, but the most important thing is you can change this. And it's not just a matter of changing your attitude. You can change your mindset to create the reality you want, but it can be a very gentle, very loving process. And that's where the clear, simple process with a tangible result is so powerful and important. And you're building it on this framework of who you are. Going into that work is to help you uncover how valuable you are, how strong you are, your superpowers. You are absolutely fantastic and amazing. And one of the things I like to share is how we lose this on the way. We don't tend to look at a baby in a crib. Maybe we don't have children, but a niece, a nephew, a friend's baby. We don't tend to look at that baby over there in the crib and go, you're not valuable. You're not doing anything yet, kid. It'll come, right?
Right.
We tend to think that our value is connected to our performance. So a huge part of knowing your worth is disconnecting that your value is connected to your performance. Your value is by birth, not by behavior. You arrived valuable. And we know that when we look at a baby in the animal kingdom, in the human kingdom, whatever way you want to classify that, we know that babies are precious because they arrived valuable, right? And the reason that we can take a look at that is to know, well, what happened along the way? Here we are in adults, and we're no longer really believing in ourselves. We're no longer feeling worthy. Where did we absorb these messages, and what can we do about it? We can lay. Oh, go ahead.
I have a story I want to just weave in. I think
Yeah.
if that'd be okay.
Yeah, I'd love
I
that.
don't want to break your train of thought.
Yeah.
What just came up in my mind is I'm a academic type, so I have a lot of education and degrees. So I was a great student growing up, mostly A's, some not A's here and there. But
Yeah.
I remember once coming home with straight A's, and one of them was an A-. And I was very happy. I was fine with it.
Yeah.
I remember passing along the report card and being asked, why is this one an A-?
That is such a common story.
That was the first response. So that's what, and I
Yeah.
know everybody has not everybody, but most people have a story where they did something, they were proud of it. And then the first question was asked something about why wasn't something done right?
Yeah.
And so these are great. This is a really great, I just want to share that story for the community here.
That's a powerful story.
Yeah. Disconnecting your value from your performance is a huge journey. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's really performance-based acceptance and believing that our value is by our behavior rather than by who we are as we arrived on this planet. So I love that story. And I just want to share with you. So get to know yourself, do it in a gentle, compassionate way with curiosity. Then I want you to choose with intention. This is about not living a life by default anymore. It's by living a life that you design and create, and it's meant to unleash your power. So one of the things that you can do, intention has energy around it. And you can choose to believe in whatever it is you want, first in yourself and the things that you want, even if you don't feel it. And here's one of the neuroscience pieces that's important for you to know. And this is that thought and emotion fire very closely together. And then we repeat the thinking of it and we repeat the thought and the pattern and the emotion, the feeling, and it forms a belief and it becomes embedded in our subconscious. And here's our brain trying to protect that and keep it safe because the brain's protecting this beautiful automated system. We think so many thoughts every day. I don't know how many. The last estimate I saw was 60,000, that we wouldn't even have the energy to lift our heads off the pillow without this beautiful system. But here we are, now going along by default, by whatever is wired in there. And you can choose to believe. It's like I was saying, your thoughts and your emotions are firing together. So a thought happens first, and many people don't know this. This is so important to know. They happen within microseconds. And if you're a very thinking person, maybe your thoughts scare you. I've had clients who this is the case. They're very afraid of their thinking, and they don't want to be stuck in their head and being caught in overanalyzing things. Now, you may be more feeling driven, but what I want you to know that's so powerful is that you have the power and the freedom to create the life and the reality that you want. And you can start simply by choosing to believe whether you feel it or not. You can choose to trust yourself. When I was a kid, this was something that was helpful to me in that way, is that I wasn't feeling maybe very loving or forgiving of a sibling. And what was shared, which was helpful, was you may not feel loving towards your sibling right now. Choose love. The feeling will come. You may not feel forgiving towards your sibling right now. Especially a couple of my ornery brothers whom I love dearly now. But you can choose to forgive. Forgiveness is very healing. You may not feel in gratitude. Gratitude is very healing, and there's some solid neuroscience around that. And the exciting part is, though, you can choose. You have the power and the freedom to choose. You don't have to live in the past, and you can start to move forward by being right here in the present and making the choices that you want to make. This is your freedom. This is really where you are completely 100% free. You have the autonomy and the ability at any time to choose.
Choose love and the feeling will come. I feel like that should be everybody's mantra. Choose love, the feeling will come. Choose love, the feeling will come. In those moments especially. That's so beautiful. I love that wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's your freedom. It's your power. You always
it's
have
true.
one.
I think we've all been in an experience where we've been hurt or we've hurt somebody, and then we've changed our minds. We've chosen love, and then we've been able to witness that relationship, that connection shift. And the way you feel about it shift too. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I'm here to bring you these tools that will empower you, unlock and unleash you, right? And the third point I have is to celebrate. This one may be a little bit more of a surprise one, but I was sharing with you a little bit about how the brain works. I could go a whole lot deeper there, and, I don't want to fire hose you with too much information, but one of the great things to know is that your brain is not just wired to keep you safe. It's also wired for reward. A great example of this is those comfort habits that we have. Maybe it's gaming, maybe it's playing cards, maybe it's, eating the bonbons, whatever it may be for you. And, looking at where we get to be intentional instead of just operate by the default. When you're growing, because you are taking your brain and your system out of the familiar, which is your comfort zone, you're going to be able to reward your brain along the way. So, like I was saying, when you're stuck, when your brain's your brain's actually protecting that stuckness. That's what I'm trying to say. So you get neurochemicals to keep you back in what is safe, which is what is wired in, which is what is familiar. I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm not capable of doing this. That's going to be protected by the brain because it's an automatic system. So you're wanting to change it, right? And you're wanting to lean into your worth, your true power, choosing to believe before you even feel it or really know it. And your brain's going to come along and it's going to try to keep you back in that safety zone. And this is where so many of us hit walls and we hit the obstacle, right? Yeah. So one of the ways that we can work with our whole entire system, put it to work for us, is by rewarding yourself, because the brain's giving you neurochemicals to stay over here. That's rewarding to the brain. We get the dopamine, we get the serotonin, we have the endorphins, and you can start to let your brain know that it's okay to move forward, to be uncomfortable temporarily. And this is where I talk to my brain all the time. I'm like, it's okay, little buddy, we're safe. We're moving forward.
Oh, that's so sweet.
From my mentor, because the doubt and the fear come in, and this is a bridge when we're moving forward to have an awareness of what is in your system, what is limiting you. This is where the negative internal chatter comes in that you hear, the put downs to yourself. And it's so, yeah.
I know I just interrupted again.
No, please. I should pause.
I'm curious because I have an accountability partner that we've changed our labeling from accountability partner to celebration partners.
I love that. Yeah.
So I will tell you though, we forget, we say it, we're going to do it, and then we forget. Yeah. And I'm curious could you give us, before we wrap up, some examples of celebration, because we can tell people to reward themselves. Yeah. But when we're in that state of, valuing ourselves based upon performance, for example, it can be difficult to come up with ideas of like, well, how do I celebrate? And I've asked a lot of people before, like, how are you going to celebrate this win? And they're like, I don't know. So could you give some examples of how you could reward yourself so that your brain starts to understand that that's a good thing that you're doing and that you can do more of it?
Yeah, I love that very much. You have the ability to just do small things. And I had an accountability partner who challenged me, which I now include in my program, the idea of writing out 50 ways of doing self-care in 5 minutes or less with just myself. And it's so powerful because for me, here's what happened. I thought, there's no way I can think of 50, 10. I can think of 10 right off the bat. 50? No way. And it was amazing what it unlocked. It really unlocked. It was just, at first I just did a brain dump. And then I got my list. She stayed on me. I need your list. Where's your list? And I sent it to her, and I had repeated only 2 things in all 50. She read the list and checked, and she said, you need to change this one.
Wow.
Now that might be, I didn't consider that like so performance-based or perfectionistic. She was really caring about me and my progress. And I invite you to do this. For me, it was simple things like, well, first, let me tell you this. As high achievers, a lot of times what we will do is we're like, goal next. We don't pause. We have the goal, we accomplish it, and we're on to the next thing. And it's really not giving us that deep sense of satisfaction that we deserve, and we're not rewarding ourselves. So
I love that. So I put that in the video
in the
on
notes.
right. 50
Okay.
ways to do self-care in 5 minutes or less.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Get
beautiful.
up and look out the window and have a cup of hot tea. Take a quick stretch on the yoga mat, something that makes you feel good. And your brain loves that, and you will actually open up new possibilities and opportunities that may have been hidden in plain sight, but you didn't see them. It just unlocks things. So
I love that. That's so good. Will you share with us how anybody who wants to learn more from you can?
yes, please jump in and contact me for a quick call. Look, I am at Carol Register right here on Facebook, in LinkedIn. I'm at Neurocoach Carol on Instagram. And we have a call link. I think you're going to put that in the show notes. I love to connect and chat. So, if you have any questions, you want to know more, it's a simple process. It's a 6-month program, but it's a really simple process. And it's awareness, and then finding how I teach you how to find your truth. Because our limiting beliefs are really lies about ourselves. Our belief in not being worthy isn't the truth. We are all worthy. You matter. So it's a process to show you how to have an awareness of those limiting beliefs, how to find your truth, and it gets to be your truth. It's inside you. Then we go through some exercises to really cement it in. And then I teach you the coding, how to code. So you get to rewire, reprogram, recode, and create the reality, not only that you want to create, but that you deserve. And so, yeah, thank you for asking.
Thank you, Carol. This has been super fruitful. We've had a lot of people hop on in the group. And I just want to say that, if you really want to own your worth, if you're kind of woman who wants to own your worth, consider connecting with Carol. Follow her on Facebook, on Instagram, have a conversation with her, and learn how to rewire those old programs to new programs that will serve you at a higher level. So we're gonna go off live, and we've got one gal here that we'll bring in to see if she wants to ask any questions, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I would love that.
Okay, everybody. As a reminder, this is Lila, Veronica, and you deserve to own your worth.